Now, the killing of 6-year-old Bontle Mashiyane sent shockwaves through the country. Her body was found dumped just a few meters from her home, and police are now investigating whether a syndicate is to blame for the crime. eNCA's Pule Letshwiti-Jones is looking into violence against children and joins us now. Pule, good morning to you, colleague. I mean, we're looking at, violence against children, it being also Child Protection Week. I mean, definitely the case around Bontle, devastating, but also just a reflection on our society and how unsafe children are.
You know, the situation, or rather issue of Bontle is just like a micro matter that we looked into, but as the matter actually expands and zooms out, you get to understand that children and women are actually under siege in this country, particularly with the issues of gender-based violence and femicide. When I visited in Mpumalanga, I got to realize that, the case of Bontle wasn't the only matter that was under the police radar. In fact, there was also allegations of another 2-year-old child who was actually murdered as well. And that just goes to tell you how child protection is something serious that has to be, taken into consideration by government, and not only a lip service matter, but there has to be strategic plans that can curb this kind of what one would call pandemic against children and, of course, women as well. But most importantly, when I spoke to the family of little Bontle, you got to understand that they were not anticipating such a heinous and brutal murder to happen to their daughter. They believe that the child is someone that's supposed to be raised by their parents in the community and become brighter. But what happened in Mpumalanga, in that village where little Bontle was mutilated and found dumped just 2 kilometers away from her home, was quite devastating for the family.
With that being said, I mean, even though we know, Pule, that investigations are still ongoing, whether or not there's a syndicate behind this, I mean, what do you know just in terms of police involvement and what they're doing to get to the bottom of this particular case, to get justice? And also, is there a sense from the public that there is justice when the police deals with crime against children?
Well, Tumelo, you look at the broader context of this. Yesterday, when we were in Deep Salute, the Deputy Minister of Justice, John Jeffrey, said that they would be building 2 courts for maintenance applications and for domestic violence. So meaning that there was a need for those courts in Deep Salute. What we're getting here as well, when you go to Mpumalanga, the province, you get to understand that the police, this is something that they are yet to do, that they need to build specialized courts to deal with these matters. And that's where the backlog is, because when I spoke to the police, they say the delay could be just around investigations, and sometimes having to wait for bodies that are, under investigation and at the post-mortem places where they get to check out the bodies, or autopsy in forensic investigations. And they're saying that that's where the delay is, and usually what that does, it creates a backlog in terms of ensuring that justice can prevail. But most importantly, just to answer your question again in the beginning, they believe that there's a modus operandi as well behind the mutilating of bodies, particularly with children and women in Mpumalanga. And this is something that they're investigating to try and see if there's an underworld syndicate who's involved in the trafficking of human body parts. That's still subject for investigation, but they believe that with the matter of little Bontle, justice should prevail. In fact, when I was still in the province, the case had actually been postponed. There were 5 accused allegedly involved in this matter who had been apprehended and appeared before court, where their bail was, of course, denied. But the police were saying before the body of the little child could go to the family, they were still waiting for the results from the autopsy arenas as well, to see how they can continue further with their investigations.
All right, well, we'll leave it there just for now, colleague, but as soon as there are other developments, we'll be sure to be in touch with you throughout the day right here on eNCA. That's my colleague, Pule Letshwiti-Jones.